My name is Lucy Eckersley, and in my day job I work for the Royal Society of Biology, but I'm also a presenter, wildlife photographer and wildlife artist in my spare time. As a presenter, I talk to groups around the country about the wonders of biology, and as a wildlife photographer I often sit in a bush for a long time waiting for a bird. As an artist, I am commissioned to do drawings of people's pets or of wildlife. Basically, I take photos of animals wherever I go, particularly when I'm on holiday, and I use those pictures to teach people around the country all about the amazing wildlife that we have here in the UK and abroad, and biological concepts such as how climate change is affecting the Arctic. Sometimes the group is quite small, maybe the size of a primary school classroom, and I'm talking to them about how different animals' teeth are specialised for the food that they eat. And sometimes the group is quite large, maybe over 2,000 people, and I'm actually doing science comedy for them. For my presenting, it can look like lots of different things. I could be travelling around the UK, which I really enjoy. It's another good opportunity to see birds. And presenting sometimes in schools, libraries, museums, and sometimes in really, really big venues. But for some presenting projects that I've done, I've even travelled abroad. I had the opportunity to twice go to the Masai Mara in Kenya and record a researcher doing some work out there with camera traps. Essentially, they were looking at things like leopards, lions, cheetah, rhino and elephants, and seeing whereabouts they go in the Masai Mara. For my photography, as I said, it's a lot of waiting, but I really enjoy that. I've always been a bird watcher, and so waiting for a bird is nothing new to me. But I also like to travel to get the best photos of wildlife. When I'm doing my art, that often means looking at a lot of different reference photos of a particular animal, understanding exactly what colours to use and sketching out that animal before starting my really fine detail work. I work primarily with coloured pencils. Through my presenting, I've been able to do some really cool things that I never thought I'd do. I presented at Cheltenham Science Festival to about 2,000 people. I've met Major Tim Peake and Sir David Attenborough and Dr. Gladys Kalema-Zikasoka, just amazing and inspirational scientists. In the Masai Mara, which is somewhere I've wanted to travel since I was a kid, and I saw it on a BBC TV show called Big Cat Diaries, I had the opportunity to see some lions and some cheetah squaring off against each other, trying to test who was the bigger one. Really, you think the lions have got it in that opportunity, but the cheetah were actually in a coalition of 5 male cheetah at the time, and so they had a bit more power about them. And my photography recently took me to Svalbard, where I was photographing things like walrus. We actually had an amazing haul out of over 300 walrus quite close to us, and they are enormous. That was amazing. We got to see polar bear, including baby polar bear, and I did a polar plunge, which means jumping off of the boat into the Arctic waters, which I knew it was going to be cold, but that was really cold and very unexpected. Well, it's a difficult one because my presenting work and my art and my photography are all quite different. But I think my biology degrees, I did an undergraduate in biology at the University of Sheffield, and my wild animal biology master's degree that I did at the Royal Veterinary College and London Zoo, really helped to give me that underlying basis of science knowledge that I can use in my presenting, but also it was really helpful for photography. At Sheffield, I learnt a lot about bird behaviour, and that really helps when you're planning to photograph them and draw them. Then all of the paid and voluntary science communication work that I've done on radios, on TV, and throughout my presenting role has been really, really helpful to develop my confidence, my planning, my organisation, and working with a wide variety of people. What was my career path into this role? Well, I actually started at McDonald's, which does not seem connected, but it really helped me learn how to work with a wide variety of people. As did my next roles at River Island and a tattoo studio, before I moved to Japan and worked in a hospital there, which really gave me some more confidence. Then I worked as a student ambassador and in lots of science communication roles during my 2 degrees. And then I worked at the Royal Veterinary College as their outreach officer and eventually outreach manager before working at the RSB. And throughout all of that, I was doing my presenting, my photography and my art in my spare time when I had it. Well, I was actually very, very shy growing up. I didn't like to talk to anybody that I didn't know. I found it quite difficult, and so I never would have imagined myself standing up in front of thousands of people and at sometimes trying to make them laugh. Very, very scary. I would say it's all right. It gets better with age. I've found that I've had opportunities throughout my life that I've said yes to, maybe sometimes even shocked myself that I said yes. And they've helped develop my confidence. I'm more outspoken and I'm more able to take charge of things like event planning or presenting on a stage.